This video is sponsored by Phantom Wallet. I seriously love legendary heroic protagonists. They are the gems of the show, and for some reason, many people just don't even recognize them as the heroes they deserve to be. Some of those heroes even tend to hide in plain sight, just, pretending to be normal to keep their identity secret, but in general, those heroes need to make a name for themselves. Once again, we are back for another round of a video recommending 10 anime where the protagonist is a legendary hero. If you are new around here, then please make sure that you're subscribed to the channel with the notification bell icon turned on to stay up to date with the latest anime news and recommendations right at your doorstep. Now, without keeping you all waiting, let us begin with the video. You ever thought a pro wrestler getting isekai to another world as a hero to defeat the great demon lord? Well, that is exactly what we are starting this list with. Kemono Michi Rise Up is all about German suplexes and super cool fighting and, hints of his strange addiction here and there that you might find disturbing. The princess summoned a hero from another world to defeat the Demon King, but Genzo, the protagonist, wishes to instead open up his very own pet shop and befriend all the wild beasts that he encounters that are meant to be, slayed, but instead he just likes to keep them in captivity and sell them to people. Let's just say that he also likes furry things, and anyone who talks bad about the animals will pretty much get what is coming to them with a suplex. It's a very hilarious comedy-focused anime that you can definitely enjoy. Before we go anywhere further with the video, just need to take a few seconds of your time to introduce you to Phantom Wallet. You might have stumbled across the best wallet that you can own right now. Phantom Wallet comes with a robust aluminum body, a carbon fiber exterior, and a drop dread sleek design that doesn't leave a bulge in your pocket the way other chunky regular wallets does. It is so well made, it looks great, it's very reasonably priced as well for premium looking materials. The main wallet comes with a body where you can stack a bunch of your cards into it, and with a flick of a switch, all the cards come out with ease of access. You can also buy some attachments to freely customize your wallet however you wish to. The coin holder attachment will securely hold your coins. There are selections of wood and carbon fiber finishes to match your Phantom Wallet. Featuring your ceramic coated aluminum frame, this attachment has a matching finish and can hold your cash or cards. There is even an integrated thumb slot that allows you to take out your money so easily. The key holder attachment allows you to store up to 3 keys and elevates the practicality of the wallet to the next level. No more hassle when looking for your keys, all it takes is just one flick of the thumb. Only one attachment can be mounted at a time, so feel free to mix and match to your style. The wallet market has never been better, and now with Phantom Wallet, this would be the very last wallet you would buy on the market to pretty much finish your collection. Check the link in the description, which will take you directly to the place to purchase one for yourself, and trust me, this is something you will not regret. Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai will always be a treasure in my heart of a shonen anime done right, and the typical example of a storytelling within the demographic. Unlike in many battle shonen, Dai's companions are absolutely integral parts of the story, not just for the comic relief or the occasional banter, but for actually defeating the enemies. They work so well together. Too often in shonen, the main character becomes so powerful and the power scaling is so obtuse that it's impossible for anyone else to actually reach his level and shine. But this time, this anime here does the opposite of perfectly making every single side character shine the most. With a total of 100 episodes, each one building up to how the legendary hero Dai will save the world from the Demon King, from his calamity. This is such an epic journey that you can't possibly miss out if you haven't seen it. Now, I really don't know about you guys, but I kinda enjoy anime like this where it involves rebuilding a kingdom or getting it back on its feet after a major incident it's currently facing. This is an isekai of a guy getting summoned to become a hero and was offered the king's throne to rule over the kingdom and help it rise once again after suffering.
父上がそうま、私も行くわ。陛下を一人でいらしてください。とのことです。
Pretty much, the economy of the kingdom is actually heavily declining, and it's up to Kazuya, the protagonist, to save it, but not by, the way of adventuring or war, but through administrative reform. Kazuya sets out to assemble a group of talented citizens who will assist him in his epic battles to get the kingdom back on its feet, no matter what it takes.
孔明すっかり音楽の虜じゃん。カモン、こっちサイド。
I really never would have thought that I enjoy a series as much as Boy Kongming, an isekai series that is focusing on the culture of music with of course a very big twist and something really cool in my opinion. The protagonist Kongming is a legendary Chinese war tactician who has led his country and people to victory against the enemy so many times, but after he was dying on his bed, he did wish to be reincarnated and was sent to modern day Japan where music was super popular. Barely anyone knows who Kongming is, as he decides to use his tactician strategies to help a girl who works at a bar named Eiko to rise as a singer and become her manager, leading her to just perform and sing on stage and make her famous, all by using his brilliant methods and ideas to make Eiko recognized. This was truly an amazing anime I got to experience, and boy, it really needs a sequel.
孔明がいろいろやってくれたからじゃん。ありがとね、孔明。それを言いに来たんだ。
Goblin Slayer received quite the controversy at the very start of its airing period due to it being quite heavy on the mature side by showing some gore and, well, other things, but at the same time, it's a dark fantasy and it was very necessary to just highlight the evil nature of the goblins, and boy, they were purely evil. But when all hope seemed lost, the vigilante known as Goblin Slayer entered the arena to lay the smackdown on those green creatures. The protagonist Goblin Slayer wearing knight in shining armor with a short sword and a shield. All he does is pretty much take on goblin missions and slay those filthy monsters through a myriad of techniques to kill goblins to keep the viewer highly entertained. People take one look at him and wonder, how on earth is he a high-ranked warrior when all he does is, take on weak missions? People just really don't know or don't realize how dangerous goblins can be, and the whole show being set in the medieval world, it's freaking awesome, I tell you.
そして俺はゴブリンスレイヤーだ。
Trinity Seven has quite the mediocre story, typical high school setting, unnecessarily complicated magic system, and lots, and I mean lots of fan service. But this series would have been utterly average and forgettable if it wasn't for its amazing cast of characters. Arata is so powerful and competent, so he doesn't really have to be protected by the girls all the time. He's also quite the pervert, but it's just quite refreshing just to see him handle the inevitable ecchi moments and situations with humor and honesty instead of, being stuttered with apologies. Their interactions with Arata, the girls in Arata, they each, it's so entertaining just watching them interact with each other. The violent tsundere tendencies, while present in one or two characters, are thankfully toned down, making this quite the ideal good harem show to pick up for yourself. The story of Katanagatari is both very straightforward and somehow widely unpredictable. It follows a rinse and repeat cycle where our heroes Togami and Shichika face off against an enemy with a powerful and unique weapon, find some way to defeat them, and subsequently take their weapon. It may sound dull and repetitive, but the show does a great job of keeping things fresh with cute, clever interactions between Togame and Chichika, who are superstar characters in their own right. But you know, we'll get there in a bit. The only thing the story is lacking, however, is the depth behind each character's motivations. Oh, and did I also mention the protagonist doesn't really use a sword against other opponents, but instead, you know, he uses his fists to strike back like a badass. This here is, you know, just quite the interesting piece called To Be Heroine. The plot is quite entertaining and can give you that emotional kick if you will turn a blind eye on some of the more silly ideas. Starts off really funny and insane and silly, but then transforms into becoming something else, as if it's to, you know, hide the true nature of the show in the later episodes, and you probably really don't want to be missing out on it. Keep in mind though, it's only 7 episodes, but it's so action-packed basically every second of the show. It is a little bit, you know, predictable and cliche, but I feel like they did the cliches well, and even though it's predictable, it is still a ton of fun to watch. I started watching this show on a whim, and I'm so glad I did because it was truly very entertaining. Give it a try if you haven't already, and you might just love it. I just want to ask you guys this, but do you remember the glorious anime known as Noragami? You know, powerful stray god who roams the streets, who used to be the god of calamity? Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. And oh my, this has to be one of my favorite anime of all time. By all means, Noragami is not as popular as you think, as it's quite underrated, and Noragami manages to pull off all of its elements perfectly without even batting an eye. Noragami consists of several plot lines, and that all meshes in so beautifully with each other, both in terms of pacing and also execution. It wastes absolutely no time in moving the story forward. Some of, you know, Yato's comic relief and character introductions here and there. It even has some realistic, darker undertones thrown in very smoothly. They make sure you understand the weight of loneliness and just how invisible those are, you know, not of the living can be. How painful it is to be forgotten and wanting to be remembered. Finally, now we're coming to a closing point, but I just got one last anime to recommend you, and this title is quite a long one, but for a shorter one, many however call it simply World's End. It really raises the question if the creator actually put as much creativity into his work as he did for the title. But this isn't really your typical fantasy thriller that just jumps right into the action. In fact, it's far more than that of the series' attempts to craft a tear-jerking fantasy drama to reach expectations. But I have to admit, watching World's End took me some time to accept the story. The first few episodes has, you know, an atmospheric feel with its world setting, characters, and plot, but over time, however, you get so hooked into the story and characters, and the emotions start rolling out like a coaster, and it will hit you big time once you find out the real truth.
認めない認めちゃいけない私たちの今までが間違ってたなんていいから聞け
Looks like you just made it to the end of the video and witnessed 10 anime where the protagonist is a legendary protagonist. If I have managed to leave any anime out in particular that you thought would be a great addition on the list, then please let me know in the comment section down below, as I'd love to hear your very opinion, or just comment down below what you thought about the video in general, as I always appreciate the feedback. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one.